Guys, it's Kristen with Hooks, Books, and Wanderlust. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another video for my Crochet 101 series, and today's focus is going to be showing you how to crochet the slip stitch. Now, when I first recorded my first 4 videos for this series, I completely spaced in keeping this one as one of the basic stitches. If I had remembered it, I would have had it in the very first video with getting started with crochet, which covers everything from holding your yarn to how to make chain stitches, slip knots, and all that stuff, just to get really started. I would have included this probably with that video, which, by the way, I will put a link to that video down below in the description box, along with the other videos for this series. But better late than never. I'm here today. I'm going to show you how to do the slip stitch. So the slip stitch is definitely one of those basic crochet stitches. Most often it's used to join rounds when you're working in the round for like hats or things like that, where you need to join the last stitch of your work to the first stitch. You would do so by slip stitching and joining. It can also be used for other decorative purposes like working ribbings. So once I get into showing you how to make this stitch, you will kind of see how that works. Right now I've got a swatch of double crochet, just something to get us started, something I can work those slip stitches on top of. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a row of slip stitches on top of this row of double crochet. To do that, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1. If I don't do that, I will end up pulling out my stitch as soon as I try and make it. So chain 1. Now you're going to notice, and again, this I go over some of these terms in that very first video, but this loop here that's already on your hook is called your working loop. And as you make stitches and add loops to your hook, those are also working loops. Those are important when you're making your stitches to know which ones that you need to be pulling through. So in the case of a slip stitch, we've got our 1 working loop on the hook. I'm going to insert my hook into the indicated stitch right under that top V. As you can see, the V of the top of the double crochet here. I'm going to yarn over from back to front and pull that yarn through the stitch and up. That's called pulling up a loop. And now I have 2 working loops. I have my first working loop that I had originally to start with, and then I have the second one that I just pulled up. To make a slip stitch, I'm going to pull this second loop through the first one. Just like that. And that's a slip stitch. So let's do it again. Insert your hook under the top V, yarn over from the back of your hook to the front, grab it and pull that loop through the stitch and up, and then pull that second loop through the first one. And you'll just keep doing that across the row. I'll do a few here so that you guys can see. Pull up a loop, pull it through. Pull up a loop and pull it through. And what you'll notice as you start to work your slip stitches is the top V that usually is on the top of your stitch, like on the double crochets here, the V is on the top, but with slip stitches, it's going to be on the side of the fabric that's facing you as you work it. So in this case, our top V is actually a front V. It's kind of going on the front of our work here. And if you look at the top, remember this is traditional stitches, double crochet, single crochet, all of those other stitches are going to have this top V. But we don't have that on a slip stitch because the top V is on the front of our work. So just to kind of go over a little bit of the anatomy of the slip stitch with you guys. So you've got your top V, which is now a front V because our top V is worked on the front of our fabric. If you flip it over to the back, what you're going to see is another set of V's. And you might think that these are from your slip stitch. They're not. That's from the double crochets that we worked our slip stitches over. So these little V's here are all the previous row's top V's. Our slip stitches are again on the front. But when you look at the back, underneath the top V's of those double crochets, you'll see this little horizontal bar, and that is part of the slip stitch. When you pull up that loop through your stitch, through your double crochet, you get that. So let's see if I can show that to you real quick. So I've got my yarn back here, and as I insert my hook and I grab it, I'm going to see if I can crochet kind of backwards here. You'll see how doing that creates that bar right there. See? So you create that horizontal bar when you pull up a loop, and then you just pull that loop through the first one. So once again, this is something that you can use for ribbing. If you would want to do row after row of slip stitches, then you can get a very interesting ribbing technique. You can also possibly use it as like a decorative edging, kind of a nice way to finish off a piece of fabric, whether it is a blanket or a washcloth or what have you. Anything generally flat, although I have seen it worked in the round too. So really the sky's the limit. The only limit is your creativity. So yeah, play around with the stitch, see what you can do with it. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful and that it helped you. If you did, please hit that like button. I'm also going to be posting a photo tutorial for the slip stitch on my blog, so I will link that below in the description box for you guys. That's all I've got for you for this video, so I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. Be sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss any more tutorials or patterns. See you next time. Bye!